and I wish to go on record concerning the magnitude of what our forebears accomplished and what this means to us. It is a story with which most of you are familiar, but it is worth another telling. It is a story so large in scope, so fraught with human suffering and the workings of faith, that it will never grow old or stale. Whether you are among the posterity of the pioneers or whether you were baptized only yesterday, each is the beneficiary of their great undertaking. What a wonderful thing it is to have behind us a great and noble body of progenitors. What a marvelous thing to be the recipients of a magnificent heritage that speaks of the guiding hand of the Lord, of the listening ear of his prophets, of the total dedication of a vast congregation of saints who love this cause more than life itself.
Each pioneer who walked from the Mississippi River to the Great Salt Lake took millions of steps to traverse that distance. Under favorable circumstances, the trek took a little more than 3 months. Traveling 15 miles in a day was considered to be a good day. In total, billions of footsteps of faith were taken by our pioneers. On the trail, a loving attachment frequently developed between a pioneer and his ox team. Joseph F. Smith related, "My team leaders' names were Tom and Joe. We raised them from calves, and they were both white. Tom was trim-built, active, young, and more intelligent than many a man. Many times while traveling sandy or rough roads on long, thirsty drives, my oxen were lowing with the heat and fatigue. I would put my arms around Tom's neck and cry bitter tears. That was all I could do. Tom was my favorite and best and most willing and obedient servant and friend."
But every time somebody would come up, I'd say, I'd think to myself, I remember treating them for this or treating them for that. And I just, my testimony is more on service and how when we treat each other and we help each other, we learn to love each other. And I think that's why when you're saying, my family's the best family, or, we have the best brothers and sisters in our group and we work well together, that's because you've been serving each other for 3 days. And so take that into your lives, and when you go back to school, look for opportunities to serve other people, even the ones that are being bullied or made fun of at school because they're not the cool kids, or they're not the smartest kids, or they don't dress the same way as you. But if you look at them as a child of God and look at them as your brother and sister, like your siblings on the trek, you'll learn to love them.
The experience I had this trek that I've never had before, and I doubt I'll ever have again. During the women's pool, I was down a little bit lower so I could get some photographs and as I watched the different families pass by, there was some that were completely exhausted. They pulled to the side of the trail so that other hand carts could go by, and they gathered around their hand cart and prayed for the strength they needed to finish the task. I saw this happen twice. It could have been more, but I witnessed it twice. I'm very impressed with the faith of the young women in our state, that they know where strength comes from.
So as I walked up it, I felt super bad for them. And then as they were coming up it, just how strong and confident they were, it gave me a lot of, not that I didn't have faith in the women before, but it kind of reassured that faith and just how strong they were.
The one aspect that has touched me the most, but it was the times that we were silent. Sisters, when the brother left you, they were weak. You don't expect to see 15, 16, and 17-year-olds weeping. The only sound you could hear on that trail was it was pretty incredible. And today, when we had this solo time, so appreciate the silence. Bear your testimony in silence if you can't come up with it.
Did you enjoy the games?
Yeah, my favorite one was the archery.
I loved the one where we had to shave the boys' faces because I just like putting whipped cream on, or shaving cream all over them.
Yeah, I'm dead tired right now, so personally I tried to enjoy it, but I mean like those got me energized and ready, like back in the mood from all that hiking, so it was fun.
What'd you guys think of the women's pool?
Personally, I didn't really like it because I didn't like how the boys had to go ahead of the girls, and like we weren't able to like have like words of encouragement for the girls, like help them out. Like,
was it hard for the guys watching the girls having to pull alone?
It was hard for me. Like I really wanted to jump in and help them, you know, because I saw them struggling, and like some of the girls were there, got started to tear up a little bit, and I just felt bad, and I just wanted to jump in and help, but I knew I couldn't.
For me, it was a hard experience. I remember walking up, because we walked up in silence, and like in my head I just imagined myself like jumping in and being like, I can't let you guys do this, and just like taking the cart by myself. But like Roush said, it's really hard to kind of like stand there on the side and kind of just watch them, but I feel like it's a moment for them to like, I don't know, it's a special spiritual moment for them to realize that for their Pioneer sisters, and like it's something that they achieve on their own, you know. They can say I did this, you know, with my sisters, you know, and that's the part where I'm like, you know, that's why I'm standing on the side, so they can have this moment. So.
For me, it was pretty hard standing there because, you know, my dad has always taught me to help as much as I can, and but that was the part where I felt the spirit the most, was standing there and singing the hymns and watching them pull.
I don't know if you guys know, we were a little bit more than a stone's throw away from where Brigham Young had mountain fever, and you know that's where the original Pioneer Trail goes. What do you think of doing the women's pool where that historical location was?
I think it just added to the spirit. It made it a lot more spiritual and gave, like, I don't know, the historical reference with it, like, helped me remember my ancestors even more, and it was awesome to walk I'll be honest, it was tough, but like it was definitely worth it, and it was a lot cooler with knowing, I guess, that yeah, Brigham Young had been there previously.
I was here with my youngest daughter, and I'd done the women's pool 8 years ago with my middle daughter, and I felt that because I was here with her that I really needed to do the women's pool, and I knew that it would be a huge challenge for me, but just to go and be able to participate in it was what I needed.
What are some of the activities you've enjoyed on trek?
Dancing.
Dancing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, anything else?
I like walking and talking with your families and with your friends and stuff.
Did you know any of the people in your family before?
I knew some of them.
Okay. And the ones you didn't know, have you grown close to?
Yeah, I guess I have grown closer to.
Okay. And how are your trek parents?
I like them. They're really fun. They share lots of experiences with us and of their lives back at home, and it's fun.
They built a commonwealth, or as they would put it, a kingdom. But the story of their migration is more than the story of the founding of Utah. In their Hegira, they opened up southern Iowa from Locust Creek to the Missouri, made the first roads, built the first bridges, established the first communities. They transformed the Missouri at Council Bluffs from a trading post and an Indian agency into an outpost of civilization, founded settlements on both sides of the river, and made winter quarters and later Canesville into outfitting points that rivaled Independence, Westport, and St. Joseph. Their guidebooks and trail markers, their bridges and ferries, though made for the saints, scheduled to come later, served also for the Gentiles. He continues, the Mormons were one of the principal forces in the settlement of the West. Their main body opened southern Iowa, the Missouri frontier, Nebraska, Wyoming, Utah. Samuel Brannan's group of Eastern Saints who sailed around the Horn in the ship Brooklyn, and the Mormon battalion that marched 2,000 miles overland from Fort Leavenworth to San Diego were second prongs of the Mormon movement. Between them, they contributed to the opening of the Southwest and of California. Battalion members were at Coloma when gold gleamed up from the bedrock of Sutter's Mill Race. Brigham Young's colonizing Mormons, taking to wheels again after the briefest stay, radiated outward from the Salt Lake, Utah, and Weber valleys and planted settlements that reached from northern Arizona to the Limhi River in Idaho, and from Fort Bridger in Wyoming to Genoa in Carson Valley, and in the southwest down through St. George and Las Vegas to San Bernardino. That is a capsule account of their remarkable achievements. In a period of 7 years, our people who had fled the extermination order of Governor Boggs of Missouri came to Illinois and built the largest city then in the state. It was on the shores of the Mississippi, where the river makes a great sweeping bend. Here they constructed brick homes, a school, chartered a university, erected an assembly hall, and built their temple, reportedly the most magnificent structure then in the entire state of Illinois. But hatred against them continued to inflame. It culminated in the death of their leader, Joseph Smith, and his brother Hiram, who were shot and killed at Carthage on June 27, 1844. Brigham Young knew they could not stay there. They determined to move west to a faraway place, where, as Joseph Smith had said, the devil cannot dig us out. On February 4, 1846, wagons rolled down Parley Street to the river. Here they were ferried across and began to roll over the soil of Iowa. The weather subsequently turned bitter cold. The river froze. They crossed on the ice. Once they said goodbye to Nauvoo, they consigned themselves to the elements of nature and to the mercy of God. When the ground thought it was mud, deep and treacherous mud, wagons sank to their axles and teams had to be doubled and tripled to move them. They cut a road where none had been before. Finally, reaching the grand encampment on the Missouri, they built hundreds of shelters, some very crude and others more comfortable. It was anything to get out of the treacherous weather. All during that winter of 1846 in those frontier establishments, forges roared and anvils rang with the making of wagons. My own grandfather, barely out of his teens, became an expert blacksmith and wagon builder. No vocation was more useful in those days than that of the ability to shape iron. He would later build his own wagon, and with his young wife and baby and his brother-in-law, set off for the West. Somewhere on that long journey, his wife sickened and died, and his brother-in-law died on the same day. He buried them both, tearfully said goodbye, tenderly picked up his child, and marched on to the valley of the Great Salt Lake. In the spring of 1847, the wagons of the first company pulled out of winter quarters and headed west. Generally, they followed a route along the north side of the Platte River. Those going to California and Oregon followed a route on the south side. The Road of the Mormons later became the right-of-way of the Union Pacific Railroad and the Transcontinental Highway.
Forward, bow to your partner. Forward again, double I-5. Right elbow swing. Left elbow swing. Two-hand swing. Dos I go. That couple sashay down 3 steps. 3 steps back. And now swing 1.5 times, and then you work your way down back to your partner. Work your way down the line. Work your way down the line. When the head couple gets it in, half swing and then sashay back. Sashay back, banana peel. Oh, there it goes. Make the arch.
Stop, there you are, give your partner a swing. Swing that little girl behind you. Swing your own. If you have found her, she's not from you. No matter what, lift the corner, babe. Cross-eyed.
say no, no say no.
You know, as we share these pioneer stories, those decisions that those men and women made 150 years ago are still incredibly important to us. And every single one of us can play that same role to those who come after us. And we are all pioneers to a certain degree. And every person who is a convert is a pioneer to potentially generations of members of the church. And I know that this church is true. I know that these events are put together to build us up. And I've been really, really impressed with my family, with all the kids in my group. I want you guys to know that I love you. And, you know, I feel like we've really bonded over these last couple days.
Each pioneer who walked from the Mississippi River to the Great Salt Lake took millions of steps to traverse that distance. Under favorable circumstances, the trek took a little more than 3 months. traveling 15 miles in a day was considered to be a good day. In total, billions of footsteps of faith were taken by our pioneers.
I had a few moments where, I felt like I wanted to give up, and I felt a hand on my back pushing me forward.
I did fear one thing. It was the women's pull. The strength is there. It's in within all of us, and we can do hard things. And I'm thankful for my ancestors who made those choices and did hard things and left comforts, left family, and came looking for Zion.
So have you enjoyed Trek overall?
I have. It's been really difficult, but it's been fun. Funner than I thought it would be.
Very good. What's been the most difficult experience for you?
Probably the women's pole. I didn't think it was going to be like that hard, but it was really, really hard.
Yeah, it was a long one this year. How do you like your family that you're in?
I think I really like my family. I think that it was meant to be, and I've made a ton of friends just from this family, and I've really enjoyed them.
Do you think there'll be memories you'll take with you for a long time?
Definitely. We've had so many good times just in the past 3 days, and it's been really, really fun.
And have they fed you good?
They have. They've kept us pretty well fed.
Too much sometimes, at least for me.
Yeah.
So what would you say to youth that is reluctant to come on Trek?
I would say just do it, because I didn't want to go and I was kind of forced into going, but I'm so glad, because the spiritual experience that you get here is just so amazing.